Today, the news started trickling in that 65-year-old Justice Kenneth Kakuru had died at Aga Khan Hospital in Nairobi. Justice Owiny Dollo confirmed the death and eulogized Justice Kakuru, who once served with him in the Court of Appeal.
He will greatly be missed by the judiciary of Uganda and people who have known him. He was, through his actions and judgments, a human rights defender par excellence.
Kakuru joined this bench in 2013 before he was joined by the future Chief Justice in 2015. Justice Kakuru is mostly remembered for being the lone dissenter in 2018 Constitutional Court petition to remove the presidential age limit provision.
The entire Constitutional Amendment Act of 2018 is unconstitutional and therefore null and void. All its provisions ought to be expunged from the Constitution of Uganda. 2, the petitioner shall be paid costs.
The petition also sought to extend the term of Parliament from 5 to 7 years. Justice Kakuru ruled with a majority in blocking the extension of parliamentary term.
Clearly, the notion that Parliament has unlimited power to amend the Constitution does not appeal to me in the least. The notion that every article of the Constitution can be amended has no legal basis in our history.
However, Justice Kakuru was lone voice in calling for presidential term limits to be scrapped. All this emerged from a bill brought by the then Igara West MP Raphael Magezi on 3rd October 2017 to amend Article 142B of the Constitution to remove the 75 age limit for the president.
It appears to have been a well-planned ambush, premeditated and executed by a few backbenchers with the tactical support of the Deputy Attorney General and other frontbenchers.
Earlier, Parliament descended into chaos when the opposition in Parliament attempted to block the message of presidential term limits, leading to army into the House to violently eject some of the MPs. This was Justice Kakuru's message to the army.
In view of our history, the hasty intervention of the army was uncalled for. There was no evidence whatsoever that whatsoever requiring its intervention, as the police force of Uganda is equipped and professional enough to evict unarmed people from a building that is not even on fire.
The former Uganda Law Society President Francis Gimara eulogized the deceased justice.
He was alive to nothing else but the law and the facts before him. For that, we will miss him. Not only that, you have to look at Justice Kenneth Kakuru from the time when he was a practitioner. He was a leading environmental lawyer. He was amongst the first group of people who really opened the frontiers of public interest litigation in Uganda.
What lessons can be picked from Justice Kakuru?
You are called to the bar. You have a duty, to the law. You have a duty to promote the rule of law. And that is something that you must do without fear or favor.
That case is one of those very, very volatile matters. It was a hot potato. But he managed to hold it all through up to the end. And his decision was a locus classicus in our jurisprudence as far as constitutionalism and rule of law is concerned.
These were the tributes from the legislators.
To Justice Kenneth Kakuru and many others know that his problems emanated from the dissenting judgment. That is when his illness increased beyond normal. And since then he applied to retire, for an early retirement.
I, on my own behalf and on behalf of the people of Katikam North, whom I represent here, want to condole with this country on the loss of a prominent Ugandan. My background is psychiatry, but Justice Kakuru inspired me to go for law.
We just call upon the judiciary, specifically the Chief Justice, to ensure that these judges are protected and empowered so that they feel like they have security of tenure. We have so many judges who are doing a good job at the bench, and they have not been elevated or promoted because the appointing authority believes they are not really working in favor of government.
Justice Kenneth Kakuru is remembered as a father, environmentalist, and a human rights defender, a bold Court of Appeal justice who did not mind about what his appointing authority believed in or wanted, but rather made decisions basing on what was stipulated in the Constitution. Sudhir Byaruhanga, NTV.